All right. So um, um, I installed Istio on my kind cluster. Now, if you look, this is my kind cluster. Can get clusters. All right. Can see I have a kind cluster here that is running. Can get nodes. Right. And yeah, I installed it. Now, one of the issue that I had when I was trying to install Istio on my kind cluster was the fact that the kind cluster, when you spin up a kind cluster, the size of the node, right, it's the same thing as the size of whatever resource you allocated to your Docker engine, right? So initially I allocated about 2 gigabytes of memory to my Docker engine. So when the node came up, they were using 2 gig. Now the problem is that the right certain resource that Istio deploys also require that amount of resource. So it's pending, right? Because it doesn't have enough resource to actually allocate. So I had to increase the amount of memory I assigned to my Docker engine, then reinitiate my kind cluster, right? If you see can describe node, okay, describe node, right? You can see that right now after I increased it about let me see where you about 8 point something 8.4 gig of memory, right? It's been assigned to it, which is very good. Initially it was about 2. So that actually allowed me to install my Kubernetes, my Istio. Now to install Istio, I use the Istio kernel. I use the kernel. So Istio install. So this is the command that you use. See, Istio install set profile default. Basically, it's installed. The default profile. Get pod namespace Istio's. You see, we have Istio gateway, the data plane also running. Now, the profile that I installed, this is the profile that I installed. Where this is the profile, the default profile that I installed. So in the default profile, where these are a couple of components that I enabled. Pilot, Istio gateway, egress, blah, blah, blah. So this is the profile, the default profile. We have other profile that you can install. You can install the minimum profile, the demo profile. The demo profile is pretty bulky. It installs like a lot of things. I decided to go with the default profile. And then I kind of, okay, get namespace, show labels. Right, I kind of labeled my default namespace, and you can see here I deployed certain body HTTP service deployment rather, and that deployment automatically got a sidecar, injected. Keep describe, not describe pod. Why do I always miss that? Describe pod. Right, so you can see the sidecar container has been injected, and you can look at the configuration. This is my main container. This is the sidecar that is intercepting connection to the container. So that's what I have so far in terms of configuring Istio on my local system. Right. Yeah. So we'll see. I will start making videos about customization, playing around with Istio, certain things. For example, the ingress gateway. What does the ingress gateway? What does that mean in Istio? How does that relate to Kubernetes? Blah blah blah. In my future videos. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks.